Proselytize?
Proselytize.
Proselytize? Proselytize? That! You can't preach about it. Yes! They say that. You can't preach about a religion. You just make sure that we give basically equal time to everyone. And that's basically what the PowerPoint says. But just to make sure it goes in there and it does talk specifically about the law and some of the questions that you should be asking yourself before you do a Christmas activity. Oh, one more thing with that. If you do have a student who does come with candy canes or cupcakes or something, and the child brings it, and there are religious messages on there, can that child pass them out?
Yes, the child takes them off. The child can't.
The child can. The child can. What if the room mom comes in with stuff for our whole class? No, you see, nothing. I mean, all you guys know, but I will just send it out instead of going over it. Okay? All right. Another person who never wants credit is Dr. Sue Chapman. Let's give her a big round of applause.
So Ms. Hughes started by telling us that we exemplify all of those beliefs that make our district so proud. And you've demonstrated once again that one of the things that characterizes the border is our collective heart. But there's something else that I think exemplifies our campus, and that's our professionalism and our thoughtfulness about what we do instructionally for children. We've been having fabulous discussions this year about supporting our English language learners as intentionally as we possibly can. And it's caused us to look at issues deeply and from different perspectives. We batted ideas back and forth. Probably a couple of months ago, we distributed to our bilingual teachers some new guidelines for a bridge to English. And our observations are telling us we're doing something really powerful for children. I'm seeing increased confidence. I'm seeing increased English development. I'm seeing increased enthusiasm for that second language. But as we hammer this out, we come upon little obstacles or problems or issues we need to work on, and we kind of stumbled on one. So we've talked to a number of teachers, Dr. Marquez and Oscar, Dr. Weaver and I visited today, and we're going to ask you to bear with us on a little tweak to that plan. So we've talked about doing it at the beginning of the math lesson. We've talked about doing it at the end of the math lesson. I think there are some good reasons for doing it in both places, but we're going to ask that all of our bilingual teachers do that bridge to English at the beginning of the math lesson to make sure that if lessons run long, we don't lose that opportunity to build our children's English. As you play with this, we do want your feedback. We want to know what's working well. We want to know what still doesn't feel like it's smooth or automatic, but we are going to ask that we all do that consistently. And if you want to talk with me more about that, feel free to do so. I know this only impacts our bilingual and TWI teachers, but we thought it was important for everybody in the community to know that this is something we're working together on. Any questions for the good of the group? And I'm happy to hang back and talk more.
I just want to add something. We're fortunate to have 2A immersion, right? But we still have bilingual, and we have racked our brains to give the same English experiences to our bilingual students as the bilingual ELLs in the bilingual program as ELLs in the 2A immersion program. It is amazing. At the beginning of kinder, you will have kids who live in the same apartments or at the same bus. Their families are from the same village in El Salvador. They basically live in the same building, one ends up in two-way immersion, one ends up in bilingual, and at the end of that year, their English development is a huge disparity. And I see you guys nodding your heads. We had very heated discussions, and Oscar will tell you about the 120 minutes of English. About the 120 minutes of English. Isn't that good? That whoosh. It was 120 minutes of English instruction that we were doing a week
In math.
in math, and then Oscar. You know what it sounds like? Yeah, you know that commercial with the guy, like the politician, with her coughing also. You know, like I stand for truth, and then they got I stand for justice. That's the same thing. I'm trying to give a passionate talk and but anyway, you know which one I'm talking about? It was 120 minutes of English instruction in math. That we were like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? But part of our responsibility in the campus that we have is shared leadership. Where is Mr. Fettis? Right here. Stan, let's give him a big round of applause. He did come in, and in that meeting, he did state, hey, you know, not only is he our math coach, but also he was a bilingual and two-way immersion teacher. And then, you know, he's got way more experience than I do. I happen to have PhD and principal behind my name, but as far as what we're talking about, this is who I'm going to defer to. And, you know, he did fight for, you know what, I think this is what's best for our kids based on the research, based on everything, instead of having 2 designated days, because if you go from Tuesday to Thursday, then you got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday before they get English instruction again, to have that bridge. So this is something that is non-negotiable. I mean, it has to happen, and it has to happen at the beginning of the day, each day. Because if
At the
not,
beginning of the math.
yeah, sorry, at the beginning.
I'm just clarifying.
Clarifying, it has to happen at the beginning of math period every other week. That's the beginning every day when you teach math.
You almost flushed just then.
I know, let's flush it, right? That's all we need to. If not, but campuses who have ELLs, bilingual ELLs all over the country struggle with this. What is the balance? As bilingual educators, our number one responsibility is to strengthen the native language. But if we do not give exposure to the second language, doesn't matter how strong their language is, they're still going to be behind in their second language. Mr. Pettis, would you like to add anything?
No, I mean, it was a tough decision, and we listened to teachers' opinions and everything, but at the end of the day, I mean,
We nothing, Oscar. I listen to you.
Yeah.
Well,
Need a bridge
No,
to
I know.
English and
Yeah.
I know
reading.
that I am going to have to look at you at the end of the day and say, okay, it's not working or not.
No. But again, this decision just wasn't Oscar's. It was that he spoke to every one of you guys, and we're all in this together. So just make sure that you're doing that bridge every day that you teach math at the beginning of the unit.
and I was right there with Oscar, so, you know, what we've had to do is look at this issue system-wide and think about what's best for the whole school and the long-term growth of our children. And it's not a clear-cut decision, but in the end, the weight of that decision falls right there.
All right, last thing, one of our former students, Emma Ravago, was fortunate enough to be selected to participate in or to go to the Science Magnet program. Who was her teacher? And yeah, so let's give them a big round of applause. So she came to me all frazzled, and Dr. Chapman and Dr. Weaver, if we could fill out a survey for her study. And then she tells me that she needs 100 surveys filled out. And basically what she's looking at is, she's looking at,
Yeah, that's good.
what?
Is it for a science project?
Yes, this is for a science project.
Okay.
Yeah, this is for her sixth grade science fair project. So if you want to leave, fill it out. All right, yes.
I already filled it out, but I mean, I didn't get it in my page, but I already filled it